Subversion, an Alliance of St. Michael novel, is the second book in this series. It follows on Cathedral. The Alliance of St. Michael novel books, what I do there is I bring together various Christians from different backgrounds, Catholics, Lutherans, Anglicans, Orthodox, some other folks, men and women with varied backgrounds and assorted talents to work against the two most significant threats to Christianity and civilization at the dawn of the 1930s, and that would be communism and fascism. So specifically in Subversion, you have a priest that's murdered on Long Island. Meanwhile, over in Germany, a Jewish businessman and his wife are targeted for violence by members of the Nazi Party. Now, it turns out that those two events, more than an ocean apart, have something in common, and members of the Alliance of St. Michael find themselves at the center, really, of each. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but I can touch on a little bit more. So in Germany, again, the Nazis are on the rise, and the Alliance of St. Michael is called into action to specifically aid this Jewish businessman who also happens to be an art collector, which is very important to the story, in Berlin. And at the same time, back in the U.S., there are pro-Nazi rumblings that the Alliance finds it necessary to stand against, including countering Nazi lies within the church. And there are serious consequences, obviously, in each case. So this is a work of historical fiction that I hope hits hard on matters like anti-Semitism and on politics corrupting the church. At the same time, it's filled with characters that readers can care about, and there's plenty of action, love, friendship, and there are real reflections on faith and helping others. So I hope readers will enjoy the mix, the challenges, and very much the character. Yeah, the main characters in the Alliance were introduced in Cathedral, the first book in the series, and they're back for the most part. While Cathedral was centered in Russia, Subversion, again, deals with Germany. So as for the main characters, for those who don't know, there's Father Pat O'Reilly. He's a Catholic priest. When we first met him, he also was a professor at Georgetown. Now, he sees some changes in how his life is working in the second book. And Father O'Reilly is a longtime friend with Pastor Eric Meyer. Goes back to their Stanford University days. Now, Pastor Meyer is a Lutheran pastor at a church in Princeton, and he happens to teach also at Princeton University. Then there's Helen Pomeroy. She's an Anglican from Great Britain, but she came to America. She's come to really love America. She also enjoys fast automobiles and quirkily, is that a word, quirkily? The Horn and Hardart Automat. So she's a key person in the Alliance. And she also does some other work in her father's British car company, which she worked on actually throughout her life since she was a kid. And she continues to do that over here in America. Now, I also I want to briefly mention a few other characters because they get a good deal of attention in Subversion. So first, Arthur Davies was one of the world's foremost art thieves. Now, Arthur Davies would tell you that he was the best art thief in the world, but he now puts his skills to work for the Alliance. So he is very critical in this story. Number two, Sasha Kozlov is a Russian. She played a central role in Cathedral, and she does so here. And I get to explore some issues, very much issues that she's wrestling with in this second book. Also, third, I should mention Liam Wolf. He's a German. He's a member of the Alliance. He's a German on the ground in Berlin dealing with the Nazis, including his own father, much to his chagrin. Now, other characters are in the mix. They play important roles as well, but I think for now, those few are worth mentioning. What's next? Wow. Well, certainly more Alliance of St. Michael adventures. More books in my Pastor Stephen Grant thrillers and mysteries series. So those are absolutes. And then I've started working on, and they're at various stages, at least 4 other series of books. One being in the actually 2 being in the sci-fi genre. Another very much a hardcore thriller. But those are all being worked on, and God willing, I'll be able to write them. I guess I would briefly highlight why I write these kinds of books. So first and foremost, I want to tell interesting and enjoyable stories that involve characters that readers can care about, whether they love them or hate them. Just as in life, no one's perfect, but some characters try to do the right thing, and other characters most certainly don't. So characters are critical to my writing. Second, along these lines, I try to keep the dialogue realistic. Is there anything worse than reading a book with stilted dialogue delivered by wooden characters? So I try to work against both of those unfortunate results. And third, all authors, whether they admit it or not, bring their worldviews, if you will, to their work. But I try not to, as I've said very often, I try not to hit people over the head with a 2x4. These are supposed to be fun reads, interesting reads, but along the way, obviously, I'm writing about clergy, for example, pastors, priests, and so on. So along the way, I certainly get to say some things that hopefully the key is that they fit naturally into the story, right? And that's the key. If something just looks like, oh, it's time for a speech, that doesn't work, and I try to avoid that. But those are the reasons that I write fiction, and I enjoy it so much. So, to the readers, I say I hope you enjoy my books. Thanks for the time. Thanks for your support. I hope you'll continue to read them, and God bless, and take care.